Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I did a palette bingo with my friend from Instagram. We had done one of these a couple weeks ago using the Melt Amor y Mariposas palette, and it was so much fun, and she's crazy creative and really talented. So I recommend you check out her page in general. I'm going to link her down below, but also you'll be able to see when I upload this video, you'll be able to see the look that she came up with using the same 5 shades drawn at random from the Norn's palette from Oden's. This palette is beautiful. It has so many gorgeous colors, and it was a lot of fun to create this look. So if you want to see any of that, then don't go anywhere. If you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Rachel. I'm a homeschooling stay-at-home mom, and I love to play with colorful eyeshadow. I just really love colorful eyeshadow and the artistic expression that I can make with it. So if you're interested in seeing other colorful content on your timeline, you might want to consider liking and subscribing, because currently I upload about every other day. Here we go with the number generation. The first number I pulled was number 2, called Pink Chameleon. It's a multi-chrome in white, pink, and green. Then number 14 is the shade Self, which is a blue and purple multi-chrome. Number 7 is Passion, and I thought at first it was a red shimmer, but it's actually more matte. Then I pulled 14 again, and then number 1 is the shade Dazed, which is a matte gray-brown shade. And then number 10 is called Pragmatism, a brown matte. Okay, so I really have considered for several days how I wanted to use these colors. Initially, my thought was to have the red be kind of the focal point or center color of the look, but when I thought about the formulation of these colors, I remembered that the red shade is not a very bright metallic. It really behaves a little bit more like a matte, and I thought, well, if I use the red as the matte focal point, then which of the shimmers will look best with it? And I thought, well, then the white shimmer, so it'd be like a red-white look. But I did something similar to that when I used the Garnet palette from BH Cosmetics, and I want to do something different. I don't like to repeat my eye looks. I almost never do. I try to challenge myself to do something else, because I have so many shadows, I have so many options. Unless I really love a look, I don't really want to repeat it. I want to always challenge myself into something new. So I decided to change my plan a little bit, and instead of the red being the focal point, I think it's going to be more of a brown, and I'll use that blue-purple as a focal point instead. That's my plan. So let's dive in, and then I'll talk about the last palette bingo that I did with my friend, how that one turned out. I'm going to take a blending eye brush from e.l.f. and grab the shade Pragmatism, which is the dark brown matte. I've already primed my eyes using the Glamlight Eye Stain Primer. I have the shade White Frosting, and I'm just going to get started by putting this matte in the outer corner and the crease, and talk a little bit about my last palette bingo with my friend Marzia, which is when we used the Melt Amor y Mariposas palette. It was so funny because after I had done my look, and that look is live on my channel right now. If you want to find it, you can just search for it or go to, I have a playlist of palette bingos, and it's the most recent one in that playlist besides this one. So when I had finished my look, I took my pictures and then I sent my pictures to my friend. And I was like, hey, I finished my look. Here's how it turned out. Did you do yours? How did yours turn out? Etc. And she goes, wow, it looks like we had pretty much the same idea as far as which colors to use where and how. And her look ended up being much more dramatic than mine because that's her style. It was really pretty though. I recommend that you check out her page. You will, if you like my eyeshadow, you are sure to love hers. Anyway, it was so funny because she had chosen to do the colors the way she did, because she thought, well, Rachel really likes to do the more sunsetty looks, and so she figured that I would use the bright orange shimmer all over my lid. And she would have been right, because the first time I used that palette, that's exactly what I did. I put that bright orange shimmer all over my lid, and I combined it with like pinks and reds, and I got this beautiful sunset kind of look. And if you watch my video where I was doing my palette bingo, you'll learn that the reason I didn't do that look is because I had done it before, and I wanted to challenge myself to do something a little bit outside of my comfort zone or less natural for me, and so I picked a different route, like chose to use the shadows in a different order and create a different look, because I like the sunset looks. And it was just funny that we ended up doing the same thing, but hers was much more bold and dramatic. And she did it because she thought I would go the other route, and I did it because I had already gone the other route. I just thought it was really funny. So I'm hoping that our looks this time are different. Maybe she's gonna go the more red route that I planned on going, and I'm gonna do this instead. And I mean, I'm not complaining that we did the same thing. Both of us are very influenced by Angelica Nyqvist, and so it didn't really surprise me that we had kind of the same plan. However, I'm hoping that with today's look, we're gonna go different directions just so that we can see how those same colors could look so different if you're using them in a different order. I'm now going to take a smaller blending brush and I want to get the shade Dazed, which is that lighter gray matte sort of color. For some reason I was remembering that this shade was more brown, but it's not. It's definitely more of a gray tone. So I'm going to use that on the very edge of the brown matte and just use it to help blend out into my skin. It's actually a really good blending out shade because it works well with my skin tone and blending out more pigmented colors. After using that gray Dazed shade to blend out the brown and really smoke out the edges, which I think turned out really nice, I did take more of the brown shade Pragmatism and deepened it out a little bit where I had initially placed it, and then I also carried it onto my lid a bit more so that it covers, not fully, but covers approximately 40–45% of my lid. Now I'm going to take the shade Self with a flat detail or C brush, and this is going to go pretty much over my whole lid space. I actually think that this is a really beautiful shadow. I've used this one not as a full lid coverage, but as an accent color or adding to other looks, and it's really beautiful. So I'm going to take that and place that on the entire lid space from the inner corner all the way out to meet the mattes. And it's just going to add a lovely blue purple sort of shine to the lid area. And I've never combined it with brown, so I think that's going to be interesting. I went back and I looked at the last 2 times that I've used this palette, the Norn's palette. Both times are videos on my channel. And I was looking at them going, ugh. Because in the last month, I actually continued to look at my past videos to see when I started changing my technique. In the last month, I have started rounding out my outer corner a bit more, and it feels like it was so much longer ago than just a month because I do a pretty decent amount of looks, therefore it might be 15 or 20 looks. But in the last month or so, I have started rounding the outer corner, whereas before I wanted the more cat eye shape, and so I would create this stark angle, and it looked kind of like I was wearing a superhero mask. And at the time, that's, I thought that was what I wanted, and I thought it was looking good. But now I'm looking back and going, no wonder my husband didn't like my eyeshadow. I mean, I think that I've improved at this point, but yeah, I'm really glad that I'm not doing that look anymore. It's just a matter of looking back at, your older self and going, what was I thinking? And perhaps a year from now, I'll look back at these looks and go, I've gotten better. And that's okay. That was, if you don't know, one of the main reasons that I started an Instagram account and then a YouTube channel was so that I could see my progress, so that I could have a record, A, of what I've done, and B, share it with people who might be interested, and C, be able to have pictorial progress journey so that I could look back and go, oh, that's what I used to do and this is what I do now and I've gotten better and here's the evidence. And that is one of the main reasons that I did anything on social media, was because I wanted to be able to see how I had grown and improved. Look at this color. Is it purple? Is it blue? Is it brown? Is it all of them? So while the more vain side of me goes, take down those awful videos so nobody can see how bad it was, at the same time I'm also thinking to myself, no, leave them up, because the whole point was to get better, and I have gotten better, and I continue, hopefully, to get better, and that's a good thing. And for those of you who subscribed at the very beginning when I was doing those and have stuck around, I really appreciate you. Because, even at the very beginning when I had these, awful camera quality videos and I hadn't learned yet to position my phone horizontally, so I was taking YouTube videos vertically, and so my face kept getting cut off because you only saw this much of it. I was, whispering at 5 o'clock in the morning because I didn't know how loud I could speak without waking up my family, and all the things that I was doing in the very beginning. People still subscribed, and if you are one of those people, I'm so grateful for you. I so appreciate your faith in me. I hope that my videos have progressively gotten better for you and that you are still interested in seeing what I have to offer, and I appreciate everybody who likes and subscribes and comments. It's been fun. Well, I've used 3 out of my 5 colors. I now want to take a small pencil or blending brush and go into the white shimmer shade called Pink Chameleon. This is actually a multi-chrome. It's a little bit of pink, a little bit white, a little bit green. And I'm going to use this as an inner corner highlight. So I'm dipping into the shadow, and then as I do with all of my shimmers, I'm going to spray it with a setting spray, and then I am placing this as an inner corner highlight. I'll carry it into the shade Self, and then I'll also drag it down into the lower lash line. When my friend and I pulled these numbers, or well, I pulled the numbers and then I sent them to her along with the little video, and I was like, here we go, here are our numbers. And I said, yikes. I was mainly thinking of the red passion number color, and like, what am I gonna do with this color? And she goes, oh wow. And then we're both like, well, we know what we're gonna use for an inner corner highlight, because we knew we'd use this one for an inner corner highlight. I am so curious to see how her look turns out. But we had so much fun doing the palette bingo. We already have another one planned, and it's just a really good time. It's lots of fun to do it with a friend. I mean, it's lots of fun to do bingos in general. I really enjoy palette bingos because they challenge me, and it's really fun to do it with a friend because the odds are that you're gonna get different looks. Like, even when Marzia and I used the exact same shades in the same order and did the same plan for our looks, mine was more wearable every day, a little more subdued, and hers was a lot more bold and vibrant, and she used up a lot more real estate between her eyelashes and her eyebrow, and she just had more color packed on and more intensity. So it was the same look, but it was still a totally different look. And I think that that's really, really fun. The palette bingos are a great way to stretch yourself, and doing it with a buddy is just a lot of fun. So now it's time to grab that red shimmer. I'm gonna take a flat, smaller version of the flat shader or C-brush, and I'm gonna dip into the shade Passion. And because it's kind of hard pressed into the pan, so I'm kind of rummaging my brush around to agitate the shadows and bring them up, and then I can get them on the tip of my brush. And I think I'm gonna spray. It's not really a shimmer, it's more of a, I don't know what Oden's Eye, like how they classify this shadow, but it's not the shimmery formula that they usually have, but it's also not a true matte. I think it's somewhere in the middle. And so I'm gonna take the shade Passion, this is the red, and I'm gonna put it on the rest of my lower lash line. Like you can see I dragged Pink Chameleon about halfway. I'm gonna put Passion on the rest of the lower lash line. Meeting up with the dark in the outer corner, and then drag it over to overlap into Pink Chameleon a bit. I mean, it performs nicely, and actually when you add it into Pink Chameleon, when you add it onto Pink Chameleon, it tends to look a little more fiery, because the pink and the orangey color shift of Pink Chameleon is combining with the red and looking neat. So I think I'm going to drag that red all the way, almost all the way in. And I think that while I'm here, because I have this shadow that's performing nicely on this small brush, I'm going to use it to do like a reverse cat eye. I'm just going to whip it out into a winged eyeliner right here from the lower lash line. That's almost the look. I really want to deepen this outer shade corner a little bit. I think I'm going to, I've used all 5 of my bingo shades. I think I'm going to take this small blending brush and grab the shade Colorful Black in the palette, which is just a black matte with some little flecks of color. And I want to deepen the outer corner only. I usually try not to grab other shadows for bingos because I kind of want to limit myself to just what was selected. However, at the same time, I have to wear it for the whole day, and I want it to be a look that I really, really like. So I'm just taking a little bit of Colorful Black to deepen this very outer corner and add a little more contrast. That's about it for the eyes. I'm going to tight line with a peach creme gel liner from ColourPop. I don't remember what the shade is called. It's all worn off. And then I'll be back to show you how it all looks. Okay, that's everything. I did not do a wing with my eyeliner today because I had that wing sort of with the red eyeshadow. So I just aligned my eyes with some black eyeliner, but then I stopped at the outer lash line. On my lips, I'm wearing the tinted lip oil from Burt's Bees in the shade Showering Sunset. And that is everything. I think it's really pretty. I didn't know how this was going to turn out because the Self shade is kind of, it's sort of elusive. Because it's a multi-chrome, you're going to get, obviously, multi-chromes. You'll get a couple different colors. And I wasn't sure how it was going to look with the brownish tones. And then I thought when I was imagining the colors I had to work with without actually looking at the palette, I thought that the Dazed shade was a lighter brown instead of more of a gray. I think it all turned out really beautiful and I like it. I'm not complaining. I didn't know what to expect. And my initial plan was, again, to use red as the primary color, and then I thought red would be like the main shimmer paired with the white pink chameleon shade, and that might have worked because the pink and the pink chameleon could have worked nicely with the red. As we saw, it has more of a fiery look to it, so I think you could really use these shadows in a couple different ways and get a beautiful look. I'm very curious to see what my friend ends up doing because we haven't talked at all about what our actual plans are, and I don't know what direction she's going to go, but I certainly recommend that you check out her post because it's going to be beautiful, and when I put this video up live, her post will also have been published. So there you go, that's the whole look. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed the video and the look. Let me know in the comments below what sort of collabs you might like to see. If there are creators on Instagram that you would want me to check out and maybe connect with and we could do a collab together, that could be a lot of fun. Or if you have a specific palette that you would like to see a bingo of. I love doing palette bingos. As long as it's more than, I don't know, 9 shades and I have it, I'm happy to do a bingo with it because it's just tons of possibilities. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more content, and until we see each other again, I hope you have a great day. Bye!